Welcome to Body by Design. I'm your host, Blue Driver, a women's strength training and metabolism coach. I went from years suffering hormone imbalances, looking soft and bloated, to symptom-free and building muscle for a toned athletic physique. Since then, I've made it my mission to empower women to take control of their own health, hormones and body composition. So grab a cup of coffee and let's build your body by design. Welcome back, people, to another podcast of Body by Design. And today I have one of my beautiful clients, Kelly, with me. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you for having me.
So Kelly joined my coaching container back in November, and we're now just hit June when we've recorded this. This will be out in a couple of weeks. So what's that? 7 months?
About that, yeah.
It was late November. So yeah, 7 months. 7 months you've been in. So Kelly came in and her journey's been a little bit different with me because she couldn't even step on a scale. So we've done this journey without the scale, and the change that we have seen in you has been amazing. So let's start with a little bit about your background, where you're from, who you are, and what brought you into this in the first place.
Yeah, a bit of a weird story, I guess, because I do actually have a fitness background. I'm a trained personal trainer, and I used to do that like years ago, really got into health and fitness. I was a body combat instructor, absolutely loved that. And yeah, I loved training. Yeah, like it was weird because I reached a point where I wanted to be the healthiest I could be. And it's so funny because, and you're probably gonna like balk at this. I smoked. I would rock up to do my body combat classes and I'd sneak out behind the gym.
I didn't know that,
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. So I'd have a smoke before class, and then like straight after class, I'd hop in my car to go home and I'd have another cigarette. So yeah, like I smoked a lot. And I reached a point in my life and I just went, do you know what? I'm a fraud. Like I'm saying that I love to, all this health and fitness stuff, but I'm a smoker and, whatever. Yeah, and I just kind of went, do you know what? No more. Like I just want to be as healthy as I possibly can. So I ended up booking in. I knew that I probably, especially with my job as well, because it was pretty full on. And there was a lot of kind of stress around that too. So I kind of thought, I don't think I could do it cold turkey. So I ended up getting hypnotized, and that like worked straight away. And I was stoked with that. It was awesome. Wow. Yeah. And then, I mean, my eating wasn't bad, but I knew that I could make improvements. And it was kind of around the time when this whole like clean eating thing came out, and I had this one particular lady that like I idolized. I loved her so much. I wanted to be like her when I grew up. And so I followed her. I followed everything she did. I followed her social media. I bought her books. And of course, like she brought out a few cookbooks with clean eating, and that meant no dairy, limited carbs, like went on the whole no sugar thing.
Lots of veggies, lots of salads, lots of broccoli.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not that I enjoyed like eating veggies and salad and that kind of stuff, but it was like I only allowed myself to have one coffee a day on normal milk. Everything else was like, my smoothies and stuff were done on almond milk and, all that kind of stuff. My carbs were, like broccoli and stuff, but yeah, completely wiped out white potato. It was, sweet potato and very limited amounts. No kind of pasta. It was all like that zucchini noodling shit and, all that kind of stuff.
Done that.
Yeah. It was just crazy. And like I gave up alcohol as well, like completely stopped drinking. Not that I was a massive drinker anyway. And yeah, it was so funny because my body just went from, I don't know, it just slowly started piling on, like the weight just kept going
Thinking
up
you're
and
doing all
up
the right
and up.
things.
Yeah, and I kept training and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like I'm trying to be as healthy as I can be and my body's just got other ideas. Like it's just it did not make sense to me whatsoever. Um and then started the journey of me going on like you know, I and I hope I don't offend anybody by saying this, but I'm not really a fan of doctors. So I didn't go that route. I went the more natural route of going and seeing a naturopath. I went to multiple naturopaths. Funnily enough, I went to one particular one that was a qualified nutritionist. And she even had me like write out what I was eating, like all my almond milk and,
Yeah.
limited carbs and no sugar and all this kind of stuff. Like I've even got the paperwork. I've held on to it and I've gone back through it and I've just gone, fucking hell, no wonder. Like now I can see like why my body was just reacting the way that it was.
So curious, your nutritionist thought you were eating great?
Yep.
Yeah.
And she even, we were even doing temperatures. So she was checking, like, in relation to my hormones and that kind of thing. And basically, I don't know what it was. She didn't really kind of explain a lot of stuff. But in the end, I think she just, got to a point where she was like, okay, I've gone through, all the steps that I usually go to. And she turned around to me, I'll never forget it. And she said to me, I think we've reached a point where I need to give you the phone number of my psychiatrist. And I was just like, do you know what? Like, you can fuck off. I didn't say that to her, but I never went back
Yeah.
to her. I was just like, that's disgusting. And I went from naturopath to naturopath. I had so many tests, stool tests, blood tests, like everything, like spent so much money and nobody had any answers for me. And this was over a period of time of probably about 7 years
Yeah.
of just trying to find answers as to what was wrong. Because I was like, I'd wake up at 3:30 in the morning to do a 45-minute HIIT session in my garage. And I'm like flogging myself, like going, like I'm the kind of person that, like, when I put my mind to something, like I do it and I'll do it to the best of my ability. And I remember there was one morning I was in the middle of doing burpees and my body was so exhausted. I burst into tears. I was doing burpees while I was crying and I'm just like, I'm so fucking tired. But I wasn't going to let that stop me from doing my workout because I'm like, no, because if I don't do it, like I'm not going to see the results that I want. But I wasn't anyway. So
Mm.
yeah, it's just, yeah, crazy.
So you find yourself in this situation where you're exhausted, you're doing all the things that everyone tells you to do, eat fuck all, exercise lots, doctors
Mm.
tell you there's nothing wrong.
Yep.
How did you get to the point of finding this program? And what was it that made you go, I'm going to give this a go? Because after trying everything, you must be ready just to give up and not try.
Oh, 100%. Because you get to a point where you just go, you know, you have this idea in your head as to what it is that makes you healthy and
Mm.
makes you lose weight and that kind of thing. And because I tried it all, I kind
It's
of
the
was
fitness industry perception of health.
exactly, that's it. And you can't kind of you can't figure out what is wrong. And that's why I think a lot of people, like I was at the point where I was like, do you know what? I just have to get to the point and realize that something is wrong with my body. Like my body is broken
Mm.
because if I'm doing all this stuff and it's not doing what I want it to do, then obviously there's something wrong and I've just got to accept that this is how I'm going to be for the rest of my life. And that's where I was at. Like I
Mm.
was just, um, and then I stopped exercising because I was like, well, if it's not doing anything, why bother?
Yeah. Especially
You
when
know?
you get tired.
Yeah, definitely. Um, So I guess, I was on Instagram and I was, following a few different pages, and I can't remember how I got onto yours, but I started following you and, watching your posts and things like that. Um, and it's funny because it's not that I didn't have faith in you or what you could do. It was that I tried so many things and I was that adamant in my mind that my body was beyond help, that I wasn't sure whether doing what, you would tell me to do would actually get me to where I wanted to be, because I'd tried everything else. And it's that kind of wrestling with, okay, but this is just the next thing that I'm going to try. And who's to say that it's going to work?
Yeah.
But then there was one particular lady, I remember you posted something from one of your previous clients, and I read her story and I remember thinking, oh my God, like that, it's like I wrote her exact story,
Yeah.
because I just resonated with absolutely everything, that she was talking about. And seeing her results, I was just like, holy crap. Like, if she could do that and her story is so similar to mine, then maybe there is hope. And I think I did reach out to somebody else, and I will say this to kind of back up what I'm about to say. And you posted a thing the other day going, oh, you reach out to people for free shit, and, you sit there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did, like, I kind of reached out to somebody else and I kind of had a bit of a conversation with them, and, that was fine. But when I reached out to you, like, the difference for me was that I think because you're in such an emotional place, right? You need somebody there that is going to, like, I understand that, people have businesses and they need to make money and that's their living. Like, totally get that. But sometimes you get the feeling that people are more concerned about getting money than they are helping people.
Mm.
And what I got from you was that, I mean, you gave me information even before I signed up with you. Like, you were happy to kind of go, hey, flick me through some information. I'm happy to give you feedback.
Yep.
And I so appreciated that, because it was kind of like, she actually cares about me as a person and how I'm feeling, rather than, oh, come join with me and, give me this much money and, this is what I can do for you. Like, the money side was taken out of it. And I
Not
totally,
about the money. I see people like you all the time, and my heart goes out to you guys. I've been one of those people that have gone to the doctors and been totally lost and no one can help. And it totally breaks my heart to see someone, you were broken. You were really broken when
Yeah.
we crossed paths. So I'm glad I was able to convey my genuine concern to you.
And you did, and that's what made me just kind of go, this is the person for me, because you did, like, you empathized. And that's, I think, when, because it is a hard thing, because, like, you're a stranger. Yes, you've been through the whole experience, but we're sending photos to you in our fucking underwear. You're seeing me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
you're seeing me. You've seen me in positions that my best friend hasn't even seen me in. Do you know what I
Yep.
mean? It's
Yeah.
a very vulnerable thing, and you need to feel comfortable with that person. And to have that empathy, and to
Coaching relationship is so much more than that's exactly what it is. It's a relationship. I think for me, having had a wonderful coach, I've been very open about my coach, Craig McDonald, and the relationship that I built with him in his coaching container. I can't want to do any less than that. And it is a relationship and having a connection with people. And that's what's going to get them over the line and help them. through those, because it's tough. It's tough sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've joined up. Now, when you joined up, I remember you saying to me, I'm not getting on a scale. That's it.
Mhm.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm never doing that.
Mhm.
So part of what I do, I usually look at body composition in the way of body fat versus skeletal muscle mass. Part of that is measurements and weekly weight. And you couldn't do that. So through this whole process, we have not used the scale or body fat or muscle mass. But what I've been able to do is meet you where you're at. So we got rid of all of that. We're still doing measurements.
Mhm.
And we monitor your strength in the gym, because we know ultimately if you're getting stronger and increasing weight on the bar, your muscle mass is growing. And then we use measurements and photos in your underwear to compare to go, the body fat is coming down. So there are different ways, and I was able to meet you where you were at. How did that feel for you, like coming in and going, I'm going to go and ask for weight loss, but I'm going to have to tell them no scale?
Yeah, look, that was my non-negotiable. And I was freaking out asking you that question because I wasn't anticipating the answer that you gave me. Because, we had that initial conversation and had a chat about, what you offered and all that kind of thing, and what I was looking for as well. And then I was kind of like preparing myself to, because it's all sounded so great. And then I'm like, oh, I bet you she's going to turn around and tell me that, I'm going to have to weigh myself. Um, and yeah, I asked the question, and you were like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, oh shit, wasn't expecting that.
We can make it work.
Yeah. And it was awesome because, I do have the understanding that scale weight means nothing, but it is like a mental head fuck.
Yep.
And I came from the position of knowing my weight when I was at my best. I knew I'd put on weight, but I didn't want to know how much because I knew that that was just going to be another thing that I would have to mentally like get through.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I did jump on a scale, it probably would have taken me back another however many steps.
So we managed that. And talking about your centimeters, so you joined up at the end of November to last week, 50 centimeters. So there's 5 measurement points that we take. One of them is the neck, which we don't see a lot of movement in, but we do include that in there. So out of our 5 measurements, you've lost 50 centimeters across your body. 50 centimeters. How does that feel?
Awesome. Yeah, and I say this to people that kind of comment to me. I honestly, couldn't even tell you the last time I felt as good as I do now. I look at photos and kind of go, because we're so judgmental of ourselves, like we're so, you always zone in on the particular areas that aren't your favorite. So when I do progress photos, I kind of go, yeah, you can see a little bit. But it's how my clothes fit. It's how I actually feel. Like I can actually stand to look at myself in the mirror because I hated it.
I remember
Absolutely
you saying that
hated it.
some of your checking comments were that I just hate the way I look.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it was like, I actually don't mind looking at myself in the mirror. And I remember reading one of those comments the first time you said it, and it was just, it's such a nice feeling to know that it's taken you from this place of essentially depression and self-loathe is where you came to me.
Yep.
To this now, and I listen to you speak now. I watched your comments in your check-in, so all written comments, and I think I even said it to you at one point. The undertone in your written comments changed.
Yep.
I could tell you as a person had changed through this process for the better.
Yeah.
And it came out in your writing style. I really think people underestimate how life-changing. It's not just about that, like you say, that number on the scale. Now, without a doubt, the number on the scale would have gone down for you. Would it have
Yeah.
gone down the amount in your head that you expected? Probably not, because we know you've gained a lot of muscle in this, but that number would have gone down. But it's so much more than that. I watch your confidence in the gym. I listen to you speak now. You talk about how it was almost depression for you when you started, and I look at how vibrant you are now. This infiltrates every part of your life, including down to your writing style change.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but even how you interact, or well, how I interact with people as well, because before I just felt so like shit. I just wanted to hide away from the world. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to, socialize and that kind of thing, because I just felt like shit within myself. And I didn't want to kind of put that energy onto other people. And now, like, I mean, I had outfits of black tights, black top, and that's what I'd go out in. Hated shopping. Now I'm like, I've got like a cupboard full of unworn activewear in one of my spare room wardrobes that like I'm fitting into, and I love it because it's colorful, and I'm like, oh my god, what color am I going to wear today? Like blacks, like black tights, yeah, always have black tights, but like, it's color. And do you know what I mean? Like I feel happy to, yeah, it does, it changes so many things.
One of the other things I remember you saying in your comment was about loving the food. So obviously you feel better and more confident. When we talk about feeling better, how much, so the food we do is really different. We're talking about really nutrient dense foods. We like to include the carrot salad, liver and oysters, and fruits and root vegetables and sourdough and all those yummy things that are so good. Dairy, that are, like you just described, demonized and taken out of your diet, to now a diet that is nourishing you and allowing you the freedom of those foods. How has that impacted that feeling of health for you?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get your head around because you're so used to not eating particular things because of all the advice and the information that's out there. And then trying to, like, you've got to mentally prepare for, oh my God, like I'm eating white potato. Holy shit. Like Lou's telling me to add sugar to, my milk chocolate of a nighttime or my coffee or whatever. And it's like, is this going to give me cancer? Because I've been told, like, for multiple years that, don't eat sugar because it's going to give you cancer. But removing those things from my diet made me feel like an absolute, like, just no energy, like, just felt like an absolute, like crap, like no energy to do anything. There were weekends I'd wake up and I didn't want to get out of bed because I didn't have any energy to do anything. I was so tired.
Problematic periods as well that have improved, haven't you?
Like you would not believe. Like I've gone from a really, really heavy period to like, and this is going to sound really gross, but I'm guessing that majority of females are going to watch this. So I would be changing, like I'd have, maybe 5 or 6 times a day I'd be changing, like the first couple of days of my period. Now it's kind of like, is that it? Like it's so weird, the difference between the two. And like,
Yes, we're
my
used to being conditioned that periods are painful when they just don't have to be. I mean, we can feel a bit heavy sometimes, and we can have days where we feel a little bit more low energy, but it shouldn't be anything significant.
yeah, it shouldn't be debilitating. And sometimes that's how it felt.
Yeah.
Like my boobs would be so swollen and sore, and that's how I knew that my period was coming.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of like, I have no idea when it's coming, and it just kind of arrives, and it's like, oh, okay, like, yeah. It's just, yeah,
What
it's
about
insane.
gas, bloating, constipation? Did you have any of those sorts of issues beforehand, and what is it like now?
Yep, all those things, bloating. Sometimes I'd look in the mirror, um, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, you look like you're about 3 months pregnant." Like, my stomach was just like, and I felt so heavy as well, like, and that kind of, again, like, went towards how I was mentally feeling too. Like, you
Mm.
feel heavy in your body, that's gonna have an effect on your mental health as well, because yeah, now I kind of, like, I feel so light. Like, it's just it's hard to kind of describe in words, but I just
A lot of
it's
that tends to be the inflammation. We get a lot of inflammation, all over body inflammation, and what they refer to as like water retention. And
yeah,
when it goes, we feel light and move freely. And
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we talk about
Certainly.
all these yummy foods that we eat, the right fruits and the honey, and add some sugar and eat chocolate and enjoy coffee and real dairy. There are some things that we do that some people go, "Eh," which is liver and oysters. I
Mhm.
personally love oysters.
Yep.
Done years of doing the pate, then I did the raw liver and swallowed it. Now I do the supplements. What was it like when I said to you, I want you to eat liver and oysters?
Um, I knew there was a supplement version, so that's fine.
No way, I'm taking the supplement.
No, look, well, to be fair, I'm not a big seafood person. Like, I can eat fish, like white
But you have
fish.
options. This is the thing.
That's the thing, yeah, absolutely. And I knew, like, if you had have said to me, "Kelly, you're gonna have to eat liver," I would have been like, "Okay, cool. I'll chop it up. I've seen it, people do it on Instagram
Yeah.
stories. Chop it up, pop it in the freezer, and I'll just swallow it like a pill. Fine." Yeah, so that, if you had a said to me, I've seen videos, I think, and I don't think it's been made available to, all of Instagram, but I know one of the girls that, or ladies that you coach, she posted a video up on our channel, our team channel, of how she was
Taste my
downing
oysters.
oysters. Oh my God. That was like awesome effort, I have to say. But yeah, no, couldn't have done that. Not
Yeah.
fresh oysters, not
She
a
was
chance.
she was committed to having her oysters. So she was doing, for the listeners listening, Faith was doing the smoked tinned oysters. She's not a fan of oysters. She decided she wanted to save a little bit of money, and rather than do the supplement or fresh, she would go the smoked oysters. So she was just whole in the mouth, down with a mouthful of juice. And she posted a video up in our community channel to help encourage people that it can be done if you're committed. So no, some people don't like the liver and oysters, but we do have supplement versions, but they make such a difference in your overall hormonal health and
Mm,
the supporting your liver to detoxify your body, especially the beef liver is a great support in that. The oysters are great in covering all those trace minerals and elements that help with our iron recirculation and hair and nails and all those sorts of wonderful things. And you've been doing that, and these are all the improvements that you have seen. So it's a big change from the clean eating that everyone talks about and the avoid sugar and fitness industry style eating to just eating damn normal food.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's all it took. And less exercise, because let's talk about your strength training. How many times a week?
3 times a week strength training, and then walking every day.
Yeah. About how many steps are you getting?
It depends. I think my max can go up to about 14,000.
Yep.
But I have a limit. I started off with a limit for myself of 10,000. But I kind of found that my kind of minimal steps is about 12. So now I try and get 12.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. And look, we promote the walking of 8 to 10,000 steps would be the minimum for a normal, healthy person, just to be active and moving. And yeah, you're smashing your steps in every day. It's great to see. And your calories. So we started you, I think it was 1850 calories, I think, about there.
Yeah.
And then we have actually increased calories for you, and your measurements are still coming down.
Yeah.
So you got to the point where you were like, oh, I'm not hitting those strength targets in the gym when I'm lifting. I'm starting to feel tired again. So you went through this. So that was our indication. There's not enough food going in here. So we've brought your calories up again. So you're losing all this weight, feeling better, eating yummy food. And now we've gone, but we want you to have more. And you're now on 2,060 calories, I think you're on at the moment.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
And still losing weight. So again, we'll continue to monitor your energy and your sleep and all those things. And when they start to kind of fall off a little bit, we will bring them back up. So another food increase. I feel like it's not that far away for you, actually, with the way you're training. So you've gone from being the not quite cardio bunny, but more in that style, to the strength training. What's that been like for you? How do you feel about strength training comparison to what you did?
I did do a little bit of strength training previously, not to the point that, I'm doing now. Probably because I don't know, I guess there's a little bit of doubt in your mind too. Because it's so.
I'm just going to interrupt here. Because this is a podcast and most people won't see it. She's got her arm up, scratching her head, and I'm just watching her bicep bulge, by the way.
Oh my God. I didn't do that on purpose. Just so you know.
I noticed.
I'm all embarrassed now. Like it's so daunting. Like, even coming from like a background of doing, some weight training in a gym, and even having used to work in one, it's daunting walking in and seeing people, like women with great bodies, and like the buff guys in there, like in the free weight section, and like I never kind of went to doing barbell work. I would go on a Smith machine, but none of this, deadlift, or, deadlift for me is like, oh yeah, that's for somebody that, wants to go and do like professional weightlifting or whatever. So it freaked me out a bit, to be honest.
How did you deal with that? So you were comfortable in a gym setting from having been worked in there. Okay, maybe not so much in that section of the floor, but there was a level of comfort there. For women who go, I know I need to start strength training. We know it's really important. From 35, we start losing our muscle mass, and not just for our weight loss journey, for our hormone health, for longevity, everything. All the studies are showing strength training. For a woman who goes, I know I need to and I want to, what's your advice on how they dig deep and get past that uncomfortable feeling?
Yeah, look, I think, and I will say that even though I have been in a gym before, rocking up to a gym after a period of time and being in what I would call bad shape, I didn't feel like I belonged there. Because you walk in there and like you look at other people in there and you're like, oh my God, these people must be looking at me like going, oh, what are you doing in here? Why are you doing deadlifts for? Like,
now you're actually in the gym and feeling confident. Do you actually think that people are thinking that? Are you thinking that when someone new walks in?
Oh, absolutely not. And you know what? It's so funny because if I could tell a story, because it really kind of it really hit me and I resonated with the story. There was a woman who posted a story on Instagram, and she'd just been, she just had a gym session. She was in her car and she was addressing whoever was watching. She said, guys, I just had to post this because I've just been to the gym, you know, just on my session. I've been going to the gym for however long. It was really hard because she was, you know, overweight. And she's like, you know, same thing. It's really daunting to go into a gym and kind of, you know, have all these people in there and wonder what they're thinking about, you know, me being in there. And she said, as she was walking out, there was a guy, and he was, you know, this big buff guy, and he kind of was walking out at the same time. And he yelled out to her and he said, oh, hey, I just want to say, I've been watching you come in here every single day for the last year, and I've seen the progress you've made. And I just want to let you know that I'm so proud of you.
I've got goosebumps while you
Me
tell
too. Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm sure a lot of people out there feel the same thing, that people are looking at us and judging us going, what are you doing there? You shouldn't be here. Like, you're so overweight. Like, you know, you're so this, but you don't know what people are thinking. Like, this guy is like watching her going, do you know what? Good on you. Like, so proud of what you're doing.
Even that guy, even if he wasn't overweight, he didn't get those muscles from, like, he just didn't wake up like that. He worked damn hard day in, day out to get that. And anyone that has built up any sort of strength or muscular base knows how damn hard it is to grow. And for women to grow muscle, it's so much harder. And I know from myself and many other people that I've trained with and talked to, when we see people starting, doesn't matter what shape they're in, they could be thin but still starting. It's such a, I've got admiration for one, that ability to breathe deep, feel the fear, and do it anyway.
Absolutely. Yep.
And, you know, I don't know, I say it to people all the time, but I wish I could openly tell the world of women who are going, like, I'm too scared to strength train, that nobody is looking. If they're looking, they're going, yep, good on her. They seriously are. Very, very, very few that wouldn't be, because we know how hard it is.
Yeah.
And you did that. You faced the fear and got in there, dug deep, and did it.
And the thing is too, is that everybody has their starting point. So those people that are already in there were you one day.
Absolutely. No one woke up like this.
Yep.
Ever. And how do you feel about strength training now?
I love it. Yeah, probably at the moment, with it being so cold, it's so hard waking up when it's dark and it's cold, and because I train before work. For me, it's such a great way to start the day. Like, I just, you know, my alarm goes off and I'm like, oh, fuck, really? And, you know,
I love hearing this, though, because in the early stages, it's hard to put together that, oh, fuck feeling when the alarm goes off, because we all have it. Still, it kind of doesn't go away. I think there's less times that it happens, but putting together the oh fuck feeling, but getting up and doing it anyway, because you know at the end of it, you actually feel good. It's training your brain to reassociate that feeling, and you just got to hold on long enough to move past that feeling where you have, do you have arguments in your head about, I'm going to, I'm a little bit tired, you should rest. No, you're not that tired. You really should be going. And it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I still have days like that years down the track, but they're few and far between. And again, where the strength training and everything, this infiltrates your life, I've become stronger in my discipline. To be able to get up and do. And that's what I hear you describing now. You know, it's cold, I don't want to, but I get up because it's such a great way to start my day.
Yeah. And also too, I think you can kind of go, okay, yes, it'd be great to be able to sleep in for another half an hour and be warm. Then get up and go to the gym and be cold and train and hurt. But my mind goes to the feeling of when I finish my session.
Yeah. And
Because
it's doing it enough to get that feeling at the end. Because if you don't go and get past the suck, you'll never feel that good feeling. And you got to acknowledge the suck, do it anyway, feel good, and then your brain starts associating that.
yeah. And then when you hit personal bests, or, if you increase your weight or do more reps, it's such a cool feeling, as well. So you've got that on top of,
I
the
love
great
that
feeling. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's some sessions that you come out and you go, yeah, okay, check that off my list today. And then you get those sessions where
Yeah.
everything's just lined up. You've slept well, you're fueled well, and you just smash those PBs. And it's just the best feeling in the world. Like you could
It's
conquer anything.
Yeah. And I think it does, as we were saying before, it kind of flows on into other areas of your life.
Yeah.
So, you go in, you have a great session in the gym, or even if you don't, I think an accomplishment, if I had a day like that the other day where I went in, didn't really kind of increase in my weights, and I kind of walked out going, crap, do you know what? That wasn't my best. I did give it everything that I had. But I felt proud of myself that I got out of bed. I did the session, even though, I wasn't pushing harder than what I did the week before. And I still continued to do everything that I was meant to do. I still got the feeling of, the great feeling after a training session. And it did. My day just got better and better because of that.
Yeah.
It just changes
And we're
everything.
not going to have great sessions every single session. If it was a linear process like that, we'd all be walking around like the Incredible Hulk.
You said that to me because I remember I was because I get so frustrated going, oh my God, why can't I don't know, there's one particular exercise, I can't think of it off the top of my head, and it always gets the better of me. And I'm the kind of person, I don't like to be defeated. And I remember rocking up going, right, I'm going to, increase my weight, even if it's only by a kilo or something. And no, I still didn't do it.
Didn't happen.
And that was on my feedback sheet. And that's what you said to me. If we increase weight all the time,
there's going to be weeks that it just doesn't happen. You want to look at the bigger picture, and you want to make sure that over a long-term period you are increasing at a good rate. But if we hit every session, and there's going to be sessions where we might not have slept well, or, life happens and you ate your food too late and you weren't quite fueled right, or I don't know, things in your head, stress is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Stress will take your strength and your gains like you cannot believe. But I'm with you. I get those frustrations. The amount of times I've, thrown the belt off and thrown it down in a W spit because it just didn't happen. And my trainer has seen a lot of that, and he says the same thing to me too. So it's always really good to have a coach in your head, because you know it can't be like that, but you get in that emotion. And so talking about the coaching relationship, having been, a PT yourself, what benefits do you get out of having a coach then?
I think for me, it's because I think I am very critical of myself. So, and also too, you might have all the information there, but you just don't know how to put it all together.
Stringing it together. Lots of free info out there, but how do you string it together?
Yeah. But also too, it's conflicting as well. It's okay, we'll do this, but make sure you're not doing this, or, and I think I saw too, in looking at the pro metabolic kind of thing, people are like, oh, there's people that have, gained so much weight because they're eating all these carbs. And I remember going, oh shit, okay, well, maybe this isn't for me. And I overanalyze stuff too. So I look at information, I take it all in, and then my mind just goes, berserk, and I'm like asking questions. Yeah, but what if this happens? Oh, but then what if that happens? So
You're
having
gaining weight, you're just simply eating too much. Or you introduce the carbs way too quickly, and you should just introduce them slower, depending on what your historic is. And I suppose this is the thing as well, is things are applied to people differently. There are guidelines, but depending on your history of dieting, your history of exercise, your current health status, some people you can't just swap straight over and go, here, eat all the carbs in the world. You've got to also find your maintenance. Everyone's maintenance is different. There's plenty of online calculators, but if you're compromised, you might not eat that much. So if you go by that and eat all these carbs, yeah, a lot of people in the pro-metabolic space do put it on the weight on because they think, yes, I can eat sugar and it's yummy. Let's face it. Who doesn't want to be having, apricots and ice cream every night? Or no, you're apricots and custard, aren't you?
Yeah.
Apricots and custard every night. I mean, how awesome is that? But you still can't overeat on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know when I kind of, looked into that side of things, and someone was like, oh, yeah, like you can drink orange juice. And I remember going, oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to buy some orange juice. And I went up and bought, like, this is before I was, with you. And I'd be like pouring myself like massive glasses of orange juice and chugging it down. And like now, yeah, like to have somebody there, like yourself that, to be able to check in, because, I still have those days of self-doubt and go, oh, am I doing this properly? And it's not just like with the food side of things either. It's also, with training and that kind of thing. Because like I remember like I freaked out when you were like, oh, I need to see some videos. And I'm like, fuck. Really? Like I hate being on camera, like, and I'm doing this podcast with you, but I'm like, I don't even like people taking photos of me, let alone me videoing myself in a gym doing exercises.
This is another big barrier for women, stepping into the gym, then filming themselves. And so many are like, I can't video myself.
Yeah.
But what are the benefits of, if you hadn't have filmed yourself and you just executed the program and checked in with me, do you think that you would have gotten as far as that you have with your strength training?
No, definitely not. And also too, I like the fact, because I know, one of the questions that you said before I signed up with you, you were like, how do you like to interact with people, or how do you want me to be? Do you want me to be soft with you, like in my, conversations with you, or feedback? And I'm like, no, just be a straight shooter, because, I like, just give it to me straight. So, I love that you can go, I think there was one video where you went, that was great execution. You could probably do this a little bit better. Oh, and just by the way, you could probably chuck on, a couple extra kilos. And I was like,
I think my standard is that you got one more rep in you. One more rep.
Yeah, something like that. And I was like, oh shit, yeah. When I re-looked at the video, I was like, oh yeah, that looks a bit easy. Maybe I shouldn't upload that and give it to Lou, but I did it anyway. And that was so funny that you said that. Yes.
Look, there are some videos, I look back at my videos every time I train and I look at it and go, oh, if I can send in that, I know exactly what's wrong with that.
Yeah. There's so many videos
to tell me that.
Yeah. But also too, like another way to look at it is, like it's great to receive the feedback. It really is. But also too, when you hold on to those videos and you look back at, okay, you do your first deadlift ever and you've filmed it. You're like 6 months down the track and you're filming another deadlift video and you compare the two. Again, it's such a cool feeling to be able to go, look how much I've progressed.
And I highly recommend holding on to the videos, because I go back to like I've been training for so long now, but I actually had phone issues way back, years ago. And I went, oh, I don't need these, and deleted them. And I regret it. So ladies, hold on to your early training videos, store them away on a hard drive or something, because exactly what Kelly is saying here, it's like progress photos. You hate taking those first ones. You hate doing the progress photos. You hate doing the videoing. If you can just feel that fear, do it anyway, and then use them 6 months down the track. How proud do you feel? You've come a long way in your form and your execution. You push now, and I just love seeing women who really put that push in, and where they go from, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, to now they're executing to that last rep that just they barely squeezed out. It's just such a beautiful thing to see, and I see that from you now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's awesome. And it's cool too, because, you know, the videos that you kind of don't see, I kind of become my own little like critic, and I watch them and I go, yeah, no, you know, you're not going low enough. And, you know, and it's kind of, you kind of can make some mental notes as well and go, okay, my next leg session or whatever, when I'm doing my squats, you know, this is going to be my focus on my squats. I'm going to try and get lower, or do you know what I mean?
Sometimes it only needs to be that one focal point. And you're right. Even if you don't have a coach, to anyone out there that's listening to this, please film your lifts and look back. If you don't have a coach, jump on YouTube and watch a video where they explain it. But film yours and have a look and improve your lifts. You will be amazed, because sometimes you feel like it was something and then you look at it and you go, oh, that's not how it felt. Whether it's better or worse or whatever, the camera's not going to lie. And like you say, you analyze and you look. So even if you don't upload that video for me to critique, the fact that you have actually videoed it and reviewed it, if you can see exactly what you need to focus on next time, you probably don't need to submit it. You can go, yep, all right, I know what I've got to do there. So it's very, very beneficial to be filming videos, not just for me. I think it's a great thing for you to be doing and reviewing yourself, for anyone listening out there.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been wonderful to see your journey. It's beautiful to see how far you have come as a person, because you have totally changed from the Kelly that I took on, and you were very broken and my heart went out to you, and now you're just flourishing and I love it. And you've lost 50 centimeters and you feel great, and you eat lots of custard and lots of yummy foods, and are enjoying the empowerment of strength training. And it's just been a beautiful journey. And I say journey because you've got more to go. I don't think your journey ever changes, but you've got a few more things that you want to hit, and we're here to do that together, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
So one final thing, anyone who's sitting on the fence or really doesn't know what they should do or can't string it together, what's your advice for them?
Oh, honestly, just send Lou a DM. Because as I said in the beginning, she, you know, gave me advice and helped me out before I signed up. You know, if I had any questions or concerns or anything that might have, you know, been holding me back about joining up, like, just reach out to her. Like,
I love a chat. I love a good chat.
You
Send me
do,
a
absolutely
message.
do. Yeah, this is the thing. You know, whatever your concerns are, voice them. Because as she was saying before, like, she's been through it, so she can empathize with, you know, how fucked it is for, you know, like, it is like it's so hard, and I think it's the initial step of just going, yeah, I'm going to do it. But it's just having that person there just to work you through that and help you to kind of, I don't know, just, answer things that might be preventing you from starting. Just reach out to her. I honestly, it's the best thing that I ever did. I never thought that my body was capable to be, you know, I do have a fair way to go. But I didn't even think that I could get to this point. And I'm so incredibly grateful for her support and guidance, and for, you know, taking her time with me even before I signed up with her. So
You're more than welcome, and I love working with you. So for anyone else out there that has listened to this and had any good takeaways from this, please take a screenshot, share on Instagram, and tag me at strengthtraining.nutritionist, and we'll chat again next week.